Actually, pre-Risen Bull Rangers and pre-Miniskirt Army, for anyone who's familiar with the FMA fandom. I'm talking to a brick wall. Anyway. So, like, we were part of HellCon, and I was one of the mods, and another mod friend of mine and I were going to meet up in Dallas, and I asked Vic Mignogna to mix my demo reel for me, record it and mix it for me. So we flew into Dallas, or she drove into Dallas and I flew, and then we met up with Mike McFarland, who is the director of the movie. And we met up with him for lunch, and we're like, oh, Mike McFarland, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, blah, 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 blah. And so the next day after that, he gave my friend a call, and he's like, do you want to be in a movie? And we said, yeah. So we went in, and we recorded a bunch of background noise. It was really awkward, and that's acting. But and then he was like, Marianne, I want you to be the gypsy. So I looked at him like, Mike, this is a big decision. Are you sure you want to give me this one line? He said, yeah, I think you're right. So I went inside the whisper booth and I was like, okay, hold on, I gotta get rid of my... There it is, the carnival! And then like 6 months later at Anime Expo 2006, it premiered, and like all my friends and I went into the movie and we sat down, and it was in like the first 5 minutes of the movie, so it was a very anticlimactic viewing, because it was like, yeah! We watched the whole thing though, so, you know. Yes?
Did you actually like the movie?
That's an interesting question.
Say no.
I don't know, I mean, it was okay. I mean, I really liked the...
Nazis?
Yeah, I love Nazis. These are good. This panel is great for like those out of context politician sound bites, like Marianne Miller, racism. Marianne Miller, I love Nazis. Marianne Miller, I'm not concerned with the very poor. But I mean, yeah, it was pretty good considering the ending that Bones had given the series in the first place. I thought, you know, okay, well, I can believe that they trans-dimensionally traveled back and forth, and you know, spoilers. So, you know, I like the dub. The dub was really good of the movie, and I'm not just saying that because I was in it, but, you know, I carried that movie dub-wise. Yeah?
So you didn't get to voice anybody in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Who was your revenge story?
He's funny.
I haven't actually seen Brotherhood. I read like a bunch of the manga when it was still coming out, and I think I stopped around the time that they were all inside of Envy, and then he turned into that weird Tyrannosaurus of dead body parts. But, I mean, Envy would have been really cool, but I don't sound anything like Wendy Powell, so I wouldn't have gotten it, obviously. I hate sounding like that. I wouldn't have gotten it because blah, blah, blah. But anyway, Envy would have been really cool to voice. Obviously, Alphonse, because that's like my forte, is voicing little boys. And Ling. See, all male characters. Like, I have a penis on the inside. Marianne Miller, I have a penis. Right, Martin? He doesn't answer. Did you have a question?
I was going to ask, how, of all the series that you've done, or all the games that you've done, how many have you actually watched or played?
I think all of them. Like, because for a long time, like, I actually did have the time to, like, invest in, like, time and money to invest in purchasing, like, you know, the DVDs and stuff. I watched Full Metal Alchemist, obviously. I watched Nanoha. Like, my friends and I had a big viewing party. We marathon Nanoha when it came out. We really tried watching Familiar of Zero, and I liked the show. For some reason, I don't know what it was. I watched Familiar of Zero on YouTube before it came out so I could research my characters. Of course, I didn't know which characters I was at the time, but I was like, oh, this show is cute, and then I watched the dub and I was like, I want to kill myself. You know? But yeah, like, I pretty much seen everything. Like, I haven't seen all of Squid Girl, but I don't really like it. I'm not really huge into moe, so, but yeah. I did play, I was in this game called Avalon Code, and I played I played a character that you could date in Avalon Code, and those were my 2 goals when I got into voice acting. I wanted to voice a boy, and I wanted to date myself in a video game. And I got my wish very early on in my career, so thank you. I'm going to be leaving, and you will never hear of me again. But I played this character called Anwar, and I dated the hell out of myself. I dated myself so hard. I told myself I loved me, but I wouldn't move in with me for some reason. And it was very interesting watching my own live journal because I just sounded like the most narcissistic ass ever. Today I gave myself a broadsword, and I said, "Oh!" Yeah. This character was so stupid because he was like, I mean, I loved him, and he was apparently the most popular one because he was like the exotic Arabian guy with like the big broadsword. But he was so stupid because he was like, you could give your little boyfriend's gifts, and his gifts that he wanted, he liked broadswords, okay, that's cool, cake, and hairpins. I was like, well, okay, you know, fucking.
How did he sound?
Oh my god. There was like a YouTube clip of it, all of my lines, but it got removed and I was so upset because I sounded so manly. But the only way I can remember what he sounds like is because there was this one line I really, really hated, and it was, "Oh, how I wish I could tell her how I feel." And you try making that sound good. Or my other favorite line was, but yeah, it was super dyke. That's what it sounded like. But Marianne Miller's super dyke. But they like there's this little cutscene when you get to a certain point in their relationship where the characters will sneak into your house and tell you that they love you because that's normal.
Yeah.
Because they went to the Edward Cullen School of Dating. But Anwar comes in and he goes, "Guess who?" And yes, he did sound like that. And so then you guess who it is based on their voice, and then the character would pop up and be like, "You're right, I love you." And then, and that's what my line read sounded like because the original line was "skida" in Japanese, and we have to match the timing for Japanese whenever we're localizing games and DVDs and stuff. And so like obviously "I love you" is not "skida" because "I love you" takes more time. So I had to be like, so if you ever play and I confess my love to you, I'm not like grunting at you. I love you instead. This guy gave me a Skyrim thing, by the way. A Skyrim lanyard. I think it's in my purse. I don't know. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Did you ever think about giving yourself a hairpin that also doubled as a magical broadsword that summoned cakes?
I don't think you could synthesize that in the game, but I will try next time. I'm pretty sure it'll just turn into like Ed and Al's mom in the beginning of Full Metal Alchemist, like How
did that go?
She's a pterodactyl.
An upside down pterodactyl.
An upside down, like. He hasn't asked a question.
Yeah. What is the relationship with Nana?
Oh, what about Nano?
What is the relationship with Paul?
Your relationship.
Oh, my relationship with Nanoha?
Yes.
I think we're really good friends. Like Nanoha is just really good friends with like Fate and Yuno. We're kind of like the trifecta of BFFs. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people think that Nanoha and Fate hooked up, but obviously I feel differently because I was the ferret who got like pushed aside for the girls. So. I wish they would license more of that so I could work more. That'd be nice. Did you have a question?
Yeah. What kind of character do you play in Skyrim?
I don't play in Skyrim. Play as in. I play basically someone who's just out for themselves. I steal everything, and if whoever asks me to do something first, I basically do what they ask, unless the other person pays more. It's basically however I end up with more money. I'm kind of a douche. Yeah, Marianne Miller, I'm a giant douche. Yeah, I'm also a lesbian in that game, but that's just because all the dudes are ugly, so... But I'm no looker. Huh?
Let's go lesbian!
Yes! I can see it now. This is a news program. Tonight, Marianne Miller said yes in response to a question about lesbians.
Vote for her for president.
When asked if she wanted to set poor people on fire, she also said yes. Those will be our social programs under the Marianne Miller presidency. Set the poor on fire. Let Rich eat cake.
You're not concerned about them.
Yeah.
Fucking fuck.
When asked about children, Marianne Miller said, yeah.
What would you do if you gave your character a hairpin cake?
I'm pretty sure it would get in his hair and he'd be very upset because he has very pretty hair. Very pretty pink hair. I don't know if you've ever gotten cake in your hair, but I have, and that shit's hard to get out. I mean, that stuff. What do you want?
I want to know if you ever thought about dyeing your hair.
Have you ever seen my roots?
Yes.
Like,
Again.
I do want to. I'm just like, it's black, and black is impossible to re-dye because without stripping your hair, and I don't want to strip my hair. So now you can like see all my nasty like roots and gray hairs. I'm secretly 80. I just eat a lot of fetuses. There's like
Now on the 8 o'clock news.
Marianne Miller eats fetuses. Nobody blames her. There is a movie. Was it a Korean movie that we watched, Martin?
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a movie that
Oh
somebody
no, wait!
made.
It was Chinese.
No, it's Chinese. Okay, but there's a movie that's basically about this woman who eats fetuses to stay young.
Oh, I know
and
about
it was
that.
really weird. Yeah, and like, but it was he had like my friend was sitting there watching it with us, and he's Chinese, and he was like explaining all like the cultural like
Bullshit.
really subtle cultural stuff. Like apparently in China you were supposed to speak the dialect of the person coming over to your home, but this particular woman didn't, so something was wrong. Turns out she ate babies. And then like she apparently had this like tradition of, God bless you. She had this tradition of singing before eating while she ate the babies, and apparently there's like this legend of a, come in, we're talking about eating fetuses.
Did they walk out?
So apparently there's this, hi, like I said to the other people, we're talking about eating babies, so, but apparently there's this like legend of this demon in China who would sing while people would eat babies.
No. It would sing to the children and
and
lure them
Oh,
to it.
and lure them in, okay. So I guess she was singing to the grown-up babies.
These fairy tales are messed up.
But yeah, I guess the moral of the story is always watch Chinese movies with a Chinese person. Keiju Tay, Chinese. Any other questions? What? You aren't going to threaten me with a rock, are you?
No, I'm not. Maybe my information is a little outdated because I haven't watched anime in a long time, but
Neither of us.
how biased do you feel the industry is when you go into an audition, like they're looking for a specific type of voice? Because back when I did watch anime, it seemed like Steve Bloom was in everything, or if he wasn't, it was someone that sounded very similar to him.
It's kind of an interesting question. I mean, like, because anime is such a very specific field, like, I mean, very few people can do it and do it well. And of course, obviously, some people's opinions differ as to whether or not the people who are voice acting now can do it well. But yeah, I mean, because it's such a specific set of requirements, I guess, technical requirements and also like vocal requirements, there's a very small amount of people who do anime dubbing in comparison to the large pool of actors who do like general cartoons, although it does seem like John DiMaggio's and everything, but I love John DiMaggio. But I think most of the reason why you hear a lot of the same actors is because anime studios already spend, or the studios who dub anime already spend so much time and so much money getting the rights to it and getting trying to make it profitable, that they really only want to cast certain people in the animes themselves because they can trust them with that role. So that's why it seems like at times the casting may seem a little bit repetitive. And
They have a monopoly on it.
I wouldn't say monopoly. It's a very difficult group to break into, and that's just because they don't want to foolishly invest their money, and I don't blame them. But yeah, like NC Bloom kicks ass. So. But he's actually not doing a whole lot of anime anymore because they don't really do a whole lot of. He's like SAG, so they don't do a whole lot of union anime really anymore, or union localized games, because once you do union, the prices shoot through the roof when it comes to talent. So I just wish I was Nolan North or Troy Baker right now. They're in everything, and I love it. Don't get me wrong, but I wish I was a dude.
Marianne Miller.
Dude.
What, Kate?
I was wondering, now that you're in the Screen Actors Guild, can you do non-union work?
No.
No.
Technically, I'm not supposed to do non-union work. There are a lot of actors who do non-union work when they're in SAG because they're just trying to pay their bills. There's not a whole lot, especially in terms of localization, like I was saying, the Japanese stuff, there's not a whole lot of stuff being done union, and that's a lot of what these people do. It's very hard to break into anime, and in a way I think it's also very hard to break out of anime, because I don't know how to explain it, but I mean, voice acting is difficult to break into no matter what, but yes, non-union. But yeah, you're not supposed to. You could face fines and potential blacklistings and stuff like that, because obviously if you join a union and you do non-union work, you're essentially flipping off that union and being like, I don't need you, I'm just playing by my own rules. But the fact of the matter is a lot of us are poor. We need money, and so we do non-union work, but you could get in trouble. So that's why, like, you'll see a lot of actors with a bunch of different names. Like we actually had a charity for Dan Green recently, and people were using his real name in association with that charity, which is kind of a no-no, because if people find out what Dan Green's real name is, he's part of a union, I'm assuming, and if that union finds out that he's doing non-union work, they could come back and fine him, they could come back and whatever, and for a guy who just had 2 kids, that's not really a good idea. Any other questions? Yeah.
What if a hypothetical voice actress were to appear in, say, her hypothetical husband's hypothetical online series?
Okay, I'm following. I'm sorry? What was the last part? I talked over you, I'm sorry.
If, say, their hypothetical husband had a hypothetical online series,
Yeah.
they appeared in that, did they get in trouble for that?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, let's say this hypothetical person loves her husband and hypothetically was in this hypothetical show under a fake name, and somebody hypothetically put it on her IMDb page. If a casting director went on this person's IMDb page and were to look at it and say, this bitch was in some stupid internet show, she probably didn't get paid for it, she's not a professional, and throw, I don't know what that was. Yeah, they could, especially if this person were to just join the union, they would definitely get in trouble, but it's just generally, if you're a professional, it's not a good idea to do free work, because then people will be like, well, you did this for free, why won't you do this other thing for free? So, it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Do you want to do the updates yourself on your IMDb page, or?
Sorry?
Who generally does the updates on IMDb?
I don't know, because he has an IMDb page that's like 10 pages long, and it's really well organized, and mine is like, da, da, da. It's like someone poured milk on IMDb. That was that. But,
Everything on his real?
he did put the energy and effort into making whatever was on there.
No.
It's not like a professional thing.
Well, actually, there's a bunch of stuff on my IMDb page that I've never planned to do. Like, there's an untitled Kevin Smith project that I'm apparently associated with. There's a movie starring Tommy Wiseau that I'm apparently involved with.
Well, just go along with it. Okay.
Okay.
I'll get the checks eventually. Someone will mess up. Yes.
On the topic of money, do you have any day job? Someone walk into a Burger King and be like, hey, it's Marianne Miller.
I used to have a couple of day jobs, but like I said, last year was pretty hard on me. So I used to work at Universal Studios. They have a year-long haunted house at the West Coast theme park in Hollywood, and I was a zombie from Day of the Dead or Dawn of the Dead and Frankenstein. So Frankenstein had boobies. I was also Shrek for a while. So if you ever saw Shrek being like, ha! And I also worked at Square Enix as a GM for Final Fantasy XI for like 6 months before I wanted to kill myself. And I quit and went to Europe, so. But yeah, no, as of now I don't really have a day job, but I mean, we do make money, and he's sort of like, we find ways to make money, and I've been booking a lot lately, so it's been pretty good so far. Prostitutes! I really love Assassin's Creed. I have a tattoo on my neck right here of the assassin symbol. And when Assassin's Creed 2 came out, I like pooped myself when I found out there were prostitutes in that game. So I made up a song. I was like, I love prostitutes for the money. They follow me. And I have all the sex. And I lived with my friend KG Tang at the time, and he hated me. Although, that's a funny thing, Dragon Age, when it first came out, I wasn't really that interested in it. And, because I was like, I'm not really into fantasy, whatever. I said the same about Skyrim, but I'm obviously a hypocrite. But, so my friend comes out, and he's like, and he's been playing Dragon Age for like 3 days, and he has like, this hollow look in his eye, and he's got like a huge beard. He's like, Marianne, you have to play Dragon Age. I'm like, why? Well, there's this cute British guy that you can date. Okay, I guess. And then he comes out and he's like, Marianne, there's all this cool stuff you can do. You should play Dragon Age. I don't really think so. Marianne, there's tranny dwarf prostitutes. Give me the game. Just move. I made this really ugly, like, city elf too. Like, she had just this face, and Alistair was like, oh, you're so beautiful. I just love you so much. And then I dated Martin, and it's pretty much the same.